Peace. Peace from Black Alchemy. Peace, YouTube world. I know it's been a minute. Haven't posted nothing on my Black Alchemy account, YouTube channel, but I'm back. Black Alchemy, we're back. So I just want to let y'all know, for the ones who check us out, thanks. Man, got a lot of things coming down the pipe for Black Alchemy as far as YouTube. So stay tuned, subscribe. I got a lot of things to talk about. Man, a lot of metaphysical topics, a lot of topics dealing with spirituality. That's my field that I deal with and that I rock with. That's what we rock with over here at Black Alchemy, right? Oh man, so let me start off by saying, Islam, peace, Hotep. I give honors to everybody who's checking us out, everybody that support us. Check us out at Black Alchemy on Facebook, Black Alchemy Spiritual Group. Check us out. Doing something a little different today. Normally what I do, we do something live on Facebook Live and then we transfer it over to YouTube. We'll do something different. I'm gonna do YouTube this time and transfer it over to Facebook. So bear with me. Oh man, I'm glad to be back at it, man. I feel good. I got a good one I want to talk about. I ain't got that much time. Talk about mind over matter. We're going to talk about mind over matter. There's nothing that you would physically do in your life, in your personal reality, in this third dimension until you convince yourself in your mind that it could be done. You have to see it. You have to visualize it. You have to prove it to yourself in your mind first before you could do anything. Now, I'm going to go through my notes too because my Mercury is in Aries. I'll be all over the place, so I got to follow that. Normally, when you think of mind over matter, spiritual sciences like telekinesis might pop up and come to mind. If you Google mind over matter, you'll see things like telekinesis, which is using the mind to move objects, using the power of the mind to move objects around. You might find electrokinesis, right? The ability to control objects that are ran by electricity. Pyrokinesis, the ability to start things or set things on fire using the power of the mind. These are subjects that will come up if you search mind over matter. Now, according to the sources of where you get it from or who you get it from, Western science still has doubt in it. They still try to find flaws in it. But the ancient sages, the ancient master teachers, the great old ones from ancient times were able to do these things. Like levitation. Like put their hand through objects. But it's a science behind that. You know, and over the years, the science might have been forgotten, but the ritual is still remembered. So we're going to talk about mind over matter. Not from the aspect of telekinesis, pyrokinesis, or electrokinesis, which are things that you can find, man. That's in general. You know what I'm saying? But my approach to mind over matter is more from a subatomic, quantum, metaphysical aspect. Right? Dealing with the mind. Mind over matter. Mind equals matter. Matter in return is mind. Or energy is matter, and in return, matter is energy. You're just talking about different vibrations or different frequencies of the same thing. Same thing with spirit. What's the difference between spirit and matter? It's a difference of vibration, a difference of frequency. That's the only difference. Right? So I'm gonna go through my notes because I don't want to get straight off. So when you're dealing with the faculty of the mind, right? You're dealing with mind from the aspect of subconscious mind, conscious mind, and unconscious mind. Right? Now there's other aspects of the mind if you want to get deeper than that. But we normally dealing with the conscious mind, right? That's the mind that we operating on right now. what you're conscious of, what you're aware of, what's going on in your surrounding right now. Subconscious mind, right, is the mind. I like to say it's the memory bank of the mind, but it's a powerful aspect of your mind. The subconscious mind is your loyal friend. It takes everything as truth. This is why we have to be careful about the information that we expose the conscious mind to, whether it's right or wrong, good or bad, which is perception. The subconscious mind is going to take it as truth. It's loyal, but it's that powerful aspect of your mind. It's also called a shadow. Unconscious mind, right? Heartbeat, breathing the lungs, blood flowing through your veins. Things that you're not thinking about that's going on in your body, but they're controlled by an aspect of mind. Just a little example. I don't want to get too deep into that because I don't want to take it off, excuse me, course of what I'm doing, right? Now, like I said before, my approach to mind over matter is more of a metaphysical, mental approach. Now, I'm going to start off by saying that all events and happenings are governed by some type of law. I don't care what it is, whether it's man-made law or universal law. Anything that's going on in your life, anything that's going on in politics, anything that's going on with world events or whatever, is governed by some type of law based on perception, or how you look at it, good or bad. That's from your perspective, your view of it, but they're governed. Law governs everything, right? So when you're dealing with the faculty of the mind, you're dealing with universal law or mentalism that states the all is mind, the universe is mental. We live in a mental universe. We live in a simulation. I even go on a limb and say that we live more in our mind than we do our own physical bodies. Think about it. 24/7, hours around the clock. You always thinking. There's never a time in your day. There's never been a time in your life since you took your first breath that you wasn't thinking. And where does thinking and thought take place? Where does it manifest as? It manifests as mind. Know what I'm saying? So, the law of mentalism, I ain't gonna stay on that too long, but I gotta talk about it because it's a law and it's governing things. It's the law of mind, right? The all, which is talking about the great universal mind, is the substantial reality behind all forms of manifestation. Nothing can exist outside of the all. Now, when I'm talking about the all, I'm talking about the embodiment of the deities and gods of all religions, just called by different names by different people at different times. So some people might say Allah, some people might say God, some people might say Jehovah, some people may say Yahweh, some people might say Buddha. Whatever you choose to go by, that's your preference. That's personal. Religion is personal. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm talking about the all, I'm talking about the absolute reality, the great universal mind that put everything into play. Because this illusion that we're living in, or this third dimension, or this universe that you see when you look up at the sky or through a telescope, you know what? It's still a reflection of a thought that came from the all. Because it's a great universal mind. What do minds do? Minds think. Minds have thought. So the all in turn, like I said, it embodies all deities, all gods of all religion. Now, we know we live in a mental universe that is a part of the all. So being that we are part of the all, we're an aspect of the all. That spark is within us. We had ability to think things into existence just like the source that we came from. We all aspects of that, of the all. You know what I'm saying? We have the divine spark. We have the attributes, right? To have effects and make changes to circumstances in our reality, right? Now, your reality is a simulation, and you are the mastermind behind the screen and the keyboard, and you play a major part in what's going on with your life. You know how you do it? You do it by your thoughts. Positive or negative. If you constantly having negative thoughts and speaking negative words, what's going to happen? You think something positive is going to come out of that? That's not going to happen because light attracts light. If you're putting out positive thoughts, positive words, and positive actions, because action is just important, because faith without works is dead. You know what I mean? You put out positivity, guess what? That's what you attract back. Like I was saying before, we live more in our mind than we do in our own bodies, right? Our thoughts have more control of our bodies and thoughts. Remember, it's the heart that governs the mind, and the mind that governs the body. Wow. If you're right here, then you'll be right here, which means you'll be right here. You know what I'm saying? So, wanted to talk about mentalism. The all is everything. Nothing can exist outside of the all. Okay? The all is the absolute. I had to throw that law out there because laws govern all events. And if you understand the law of mind, then you'll be able to navigate and tap into mind over matter. Now, now back to mind over matter. We have to understand the relationship between mind and understand the relationship between matter. Mind is not a tangible thing. Mind is not something that you can grab, throw in a jar, store on the shelf, put in a store and sell. Mind ain't something that you can put in a headlock. Mind ain't something that you can physically hurt or attack. Even though the mind can be attacked, but it's not done from a physical level. You know what I'm saying? But what mind is order, structure, and organization that takes the form that energy takes in matter too. So it's not something that you could put in a bottle and sell. Like I said, mind exists not only inside the brain, but it exists outside the brain. The mind is independent of the brain. Most people think of mind, they automatically think of brain. It works in the brain, but it's independent of the brain. Think about it. Mind. Being that is nothing is tangible, that means it can exist on multiple planes, right? Just like we exist on multiple planes of reality at one time. You know what I'm saying? Different times, however you choose to see it. Mind is the same thing. Mind is not only located here. Mind is around you. For those who are familiar with Ifa, you know about your consciousness. You'll know about your Ori, right? And I'm going to say this about mind. We have to safeguard our minds, because mind, as powerful it is still fragile. You can't physically hurt it, but you can attack it. You can attack the subconscious. And when you attack the subconscious aspect of the mind, then guess what? You produce a reality that might not be good if it's an attack. You know what I'm saying? So mind is the element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world around them and their experience. It is to think and to feel. It is the faculty of consciousness and thought. Mind is independent of the brain. Consciousness, awareness. Your observer, which is the true you, the higher self, the true essence, or the essence mind, your observer really is the one behind the scene, the shaping and forming and making things work. Especially if you know familiar with quantum physics or quantum theory, you know heard of the observer and the two-slit theory. Now the higher self is the observer, right? It is the aspect of you that is higher, but it's conscious of what's going on around you. Consciousness only means awareness, right? Now, matter exists to the five senses, right? Matter might seem to be solid. I'm knocking on this table, right? As real as this table seems, at the very core of its existence is nothing but atoms, which is electrons and ions. Now, I'm not saying that it's not real, because if I was to get up and I bump my toe on this table, I will feel pain. Pain is real. this table is real. So I won't go on a ledge and say that matter is not real, but what we see as matter to a degree is kind of like an illusion. I know that sounds like an oxymoron when I'm throwing out there. Think about it. I'm knocking on the table, and it serves its purpose, right? It's solid. It's physical. I can grab it. It's tangible. But when you break it down and look at it from a quantum aspect, it's nothing but atoms. You understand? Atoms that have bonded together to take the form of this table. That's what it is. Now, it manifested like that. Now, you will have some people that'll go as far as saying, yeah, it's an illusion, it's not real. Like I said before, if I get up and I hit my leg or hit my toe on this table, man, I'm going to feel that pain. That's real. Getting poked by a knife or shot by a gun is painful. It is real, even though those things are material things. They're matter things, right? Now, we have to see things for what they are and not what they appear to be. The first thing to do is to see every situation, whether good or bad, which is based on perception again, as it just is, keeping emotions and mind calm and balanced. That's what I struggle with, because I got oppositions with my sun and my moon. You know what I mean? For those who are familiar with birth charts and things like that. And from here, we could begin to mold, form, and shape situations to whatever we desire. This is true mind over matter, using focused thought to bring forth a physical result. Wow, where have we heard that before? For those who are spiritual practitioners, right? Whether you're doing candle work or any other type of form of ritual, right? What is the first place where the ritual takes place? Where's the first place that would take place? Excuse me. It takes place in your mind. By the time you get to your candles and your elements, your oils, your fire and all that, that's secondary. The real ritual takes place here. Because it's, as strong as the ritual is going to be, it's based on the intention and focus of the mind. This is where it takes place first. So what you would call magic or magi ain't nothing but the manipulation of energy to bring forth a physical desire or a physical result. Same thing. Ritualistic magic or magi, spiritualism, is nothing but mind over matter. For real. So what you're really doing is using the power of your mind to overcome physical limitations and problems. Now, those physical limitations and problems, obstacles, are things that you're attracted to you some type of way, probably as a result of your previous thinking, right? That lead to the experience that you're going through right now. And like I said before, there's nothing that you're going to do physically until you prove it in your mind first that it could be done. See it in your mind first. You got to visualize it. You know, you have to master your thoughts. And I'm not perfect. None of us is perfect, right? Because we're here in the physical body and we have higher and lower selves. And there's things that come along with these bodies. Emotions come along with these bodies. We have to balance emotions. We have to balance thoughts. We have to balance our actions. They all work hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? But being human is not no easy task. That's why you incarnate here. You incarnate here as human to learn how to become God or tap into the Godhead or the higher self or the God self. Because what you're doing, you're trying to raise your elevation and you're trying to raise your frequency. I say it all the time. We say it all the time on Black Alchemy. That's one of the things we talk about. We always talk about incarnating here in the physical body. Raising your elevation. You know what I mean? So you have to always master your thoughts. You have to always master your thinking. Because through your thoughts, you create the paradigm and you create the reality around you. That's real talk. How many people you ever known just always thinking negative and then negative actions just come? They get sick. They end up in car accidents. They losing their home. Having trouble on the job. Negativity or negative thoughts, I like to say, is like bubble gum. The more you play and wrap yourself up in it, the more you get stuck. And the more negativity will get stuck to you. And this is a lesson I constantly remind myself of. Because I got some heavy karma I'm paying in this lifetime. So we got to master our thoughts. You got to master the circumference of your thoughts. Master the circumference of your ori. You know what I mean? Thoughts are stronger than physical things. Physical things are more finite and will one day pass away. Thought being formed and energy lives on and is only transferred, right? Yo, let me tell you about this, right? I know some people, well, I personally know people that have made their transition, right? And in a state of their lower selves, they have said things to people that hurt their feelings, belittled people, just verbally assassinated people who are still here living today. And they're still haunted by those words. Still haunted by the energy of those words that have an emotional effect on them. Even though the people who was on the attack might have moved on in transition, which means leaving their physical body to the astral plane or to the ethers or wherever they choose to go, wherever they had to go as far as their mission, right? The words that they said still haunt people. Those thoughts still haunt people. Thoughts are very strong. Thoughts are very strong. We gotta govern them. You gotta govern your thoughts all the time. You gotta govern them accordingly. You know what I mean? That's, yo, for real, I personally know people that's going through it. Even me to a degree, things were said to me by family members who've made transitions and been going. But you know, I'm still kind of haunted by things they said. But the only reason they haunted me because it wasn't a lot they said. It was something true that I got to deal with. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to get too off track. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say mind being consciousness, awareness, thought, energy, and spirit has influence over the body and physical matter. Right? Everything is based off of thought put into action. Thought being the cause. What manifests from that thought is what we call the effect. Cause and effect, another universal law. Remember, law governs all events. Right? As creators or innovators, the blueprint is a formula. The blueprint is formulated in the mind first, as thought is on a mental plane, then through manifestation brought forth into the third dimension. All right, let me tell you what I mean by that, right? Every time you have a thought, an idea that spawns from the imagination, right? You give birth to a mental child that exists on what we would call the fourth dimension or the mental plane. We're going to call it the mental plane because the fourth dimension from Einstein, we can be talking about space-time and all that. So we're going to call it the mental plane. So every thought that you have, that you give birth to from your imagination, it exists on what we call the mental plane. Now, there's different planes of existence, right? Different planes of existence. We talk about that a lot. So, on the mental plane of existence, that thought is as real as anything tangible here in the third dimension. It's real. Our job as mental alchemists, when we have good thoughts, is to be able to master the science and master the art of bringing forth those positive thoughts into the third dimension, making them manifest here in the physical. Now we do it, right? But we also manifest negative thoughts here into the third dimension too that play out in the physical. Those brain children that we, produce, those thoughts, those ideas, those desires, they take form on the mental plane. Especially when they're negative, they find some kind of way to creep into your life. But you gotta remember, like attracts like. So, mind over matter, right, has been used by sages, used by high priests, used by different masterminds throughout time here on earth. It's nothing new about it. They understood the power of mind and the power of focus, intention. I'm sorry. We do it on the regular. Think about somebody that's trying to get over alcohol or drug addiction. Pretty much the treatments be the same, and you got some people that can actually master the treatment and master the course of freeing themselves from drug and alcohols, and you got some that can't do it. Why is that? Willpower and power of mind. Mind over matter. Placebo effect, right? You got people that find out they ill and find out they sick, right? Some people have the power and the willpower of their mind to overcome the sickness, and some people just seem to get worse. How many times have you ever known people to go for a routine checkup, found out they got some kind of sickness or illness, and from that point on they just started breaking down? But before they went for that checkup, man, they was full of life. They was active. They were all over the place, dancing, feeling good. Go get that negative information from that doctor, that negative news, and they start breaking down. They start looking sick. Mind over matter. Now, depending on how strong your willpower is to live, you can conquer anything physical. You know what I'm saying? Overcoming addictions, overcoming sicknesses, overcoming financial issues. That's another one. If you think like you always broke, guess what? It's going to manifest where you broke. If you think poverty, your life is going to manifest poverty. Ain't nothing new about this. It's the same science that we have been putting out. Those of us in the metaphysical field have been putting out for years. But we have to keep putting it out. I know it might seem like it's old and mundane to people who might have moved on and might have advanced in their studies, but these things still do have an effect on the lives of people. So we have to keep putting it out. Because we have people waking it up and coming into these sciences. And we having people graduating and moving on. But guess what? We still got inner apprentices coming in. And we have to still drop these degrees on them. You know what I mean? And that's how I go. So everything is based on thought. There's been masters. I got books, man, in there, man. On my bookshelf, man, I've been reading about ancient masters, right? Who were able to take something like a physical object and change it to some totally different form, a totally different design. This is what they was doing back then. Now, are we doing it today? Nah, because we become so mundane in our spirituality and so mundane in our thinking. But I'm going to give you the key to how to do it. Anytime you want to change something, all you do is have to change the vibration of what that thing is. Think about it. If you don't like the way your life is looking and the way your life is going, what do you have to do? Change the vibration and the frequency of your thoughts. Think more positive. Because things change from the inside. Nothing ever changes from the outside. A bodybuilder, right? I use this example all the time. A bodybuilder. If he want to put on mass, matter, muscle mass, right? He first visualize and see himself gaining weight and gaining mass. It starts here first. Then he put the action with it, which would be the process of going through the workout routine, the lifting weights and eating right and protein and all this and that. And he start putting it on. But it starts with visualization, but it starts here in the mind. Everything starts there. A sculptor, people who like the artists, know what I mean? I like to illustrate. It starts here first, and then I transfer it to paper. Writers, novelists, when they have ideas, they pop up here first, then they transfer them to paper. Cause and effect. The thought is the cause, and what happens on the paper is the effect. Universal law. Know what I'm saying? Every time you think a thought, you create an atom. And what is an atom? An atom is the building block of the universe. And the mind is the structure and the formation that you use to place the blocks or the building blocks. That's how that works. That's what I'm telling people. Always safeguard your mind because it's working 24/7 around the clock. Mind, brain dealing more with five senses, ego, hearing this illusion. And I'm going to call it an illusion because it's finite. I'm knocking on the table, but guess what? It's still finite. It's in a form now, but it's going to break down and become something else. Infinite and finite is two different concepts. And that's what a lot of us get messed up at. Because we try to explain infinite things with finite minds. Which is understood. Nobody's perfect. But all material things are finite. They change. We'll let you know that it's not absolute. Absolute things do not change. I ain't got that much time. I think I put in 30 minutes. I wanted to make that one real quick. I've been really wanting to get this one off. You know what I mean? But mind over matter, man. Anything that you want to do, it can be done, but you got to prove it here first. You got to be confident in yourself. You have to see yourself doing it. For someone who's an athlete, right? I remember, man, playing ball coming up, right? I was athletic. But during my stage of growing, you know what I'm saying, being awkward, feet big, skinny frame, this and that, I played a lot of basketball, right? And I was always athletic, jump shot, nice jump shot, this and that. But when it came to dunking, I just could never get it. Until I started seeing myself do it here is when I started manifesting doing it in the physical. That's for real. Athletes will tell you. I got friends, man, on Facebook, man, professional bodybuilders, man. And they'll tell you, whenever they pumping iron and lifting weight, they see themselves pushing it in their mind first before they even physically do it. Because if they didn't see it here first, then they wouldn't be able to do that. They wouldn't be able to max out. You have to see yourself doing it. Any situation going on in your life, you can alter and change. Because it is a simulation. And remember, you're the one behind the keyboard and the screen. You're the one typing and putting in and taking out, adding and subtracting as you go. What you gonna do? Build or destroy. You know what I mean? Let that soak in. Sink in, my bad. Just what it is. Mind over matter, man. You ain't gotta worry about nothing physically happening to you here. If you think like a victim, you're gonna end up being a victim. If you think prosperity, you're gonna live a prosperous life. That's just what it is. And just because you're in a situation don't mean you have to be in that situation. If you don't like what you're hearing on the radio, what you do? You turn the dial. When you turn the dial, what you doing? You're turning the frequency. In other words, you're changing the vibration. And we have to keep putting these teachings out because people out here suffering. And they don't know where it's coming from, but they don't understand that it's self-created. It's coming from within. It's coming from your very own thinking. Or coming from thinking the ideas and thoughts that have been implanted. Are your thoughts your own thoughts? Or are they the thoughts of someone else that implanted them in there? This is why I say, protect that subconscious mind by being aware of what your conscious mind is perceiving. Excuse me. because your subconscious mind is the powerhouse, it's the storehouse, and it's going to manifest in your reality. Anything that you feed it, it take everything, good or bad, as it just is. Everything is good to the subconscious mind. That's not right. Take don't out of your vocabulary. Take can't out of your vocabulary. When you say you don't, because the subconscious mind don't recognize the word don't, it takes it as saying do. For example, I don't want to lose my job. To the subconscious mind, because it don't know don't, it say I do want to lose my job. Bam. Now you having issues and trouble on your job. I can't seem to get out of this money trouble, these financial problems that I'm having. Yo, don't recognize that. Now, I mean, it's certain words you got to take out your vocabulary because it's going to take it as something else. So instead of saying that I don't want to lose my job, right? Say, I'm in good favor with the people on my job. Change the vibration of the words that you speak. Change how you speak those words. Take don't out of your vocabulary. For real, because your subconscious mind is going to eat that up and spit that right back out to you. So consciously, we got to do better. Conscious mind, we got to do better. Everybody want to be conscious, right? Everybody want to be aware. But be aware that there's certain things that you can't do because you're going to have an effect on your subconscious mind, which in return is going to create a reality for you that you going to be caught up and getting jammed up. And that's added stress that you don't need. Because most likely, if you're here in the physical body, you got some type of karma or some kind of lesson that you're here to learn and pay anyway. You don't need all that extra stuff. Try to lessen it. You got your own cross to carry. Don't carry other people's crosses. Try to lessen the crosses that you carry. Safeguard your mind. It's precious. You can go with losing limbs, but once you lose your mind, it's game over. I've seen it. I've seen people who suffer from being, I ain't gonna say poison. I've known people to have a nightlife and like to party it up and drink and set their drinks down, and somebody slips something in their drink. They intake it into their body and they never again right in their mind. These things do happen. Safeguard your mind. Mind control is a real science. Because like I say, if I can control your mind, I can control your body. Nothing new about it. Why do you think the slave masters on the plantation never fed the slaves? Because the slaves, I mean, they fed them. They never really worried about them because they knew they had them mentally locked. As big and strong as the slaves is, man, they could have easily crushed and smashed these dudes, man. But they never really fed them too much because they knew they had them here. The mind controls the body. The heart was taken out. Heart controls the mind, mind controls the body. Remember, the heart is the seat of the soul. That's why I'm big on these subjects when they come to thoughts, come to mind, come to consciousness. Because it is who you are. Everything that you see is a form of mental energy. As real as this table is I'm knocking on, it still started off as an idea and a thought in somebody's head. Everything starts off as a thought. From the layout of the universe, which some say started as a Big Bang, all that, but it was still a thought of the great universal mind that put everything into play. The life that you live in right now, no matter what stage in your life that you at, it was thought and thinking and ideas and imagination that put you there. No matter what the condition is. excuse me, safeguard your mind. It's fragile. It's powerful though. But once it's broken, I never really seen too many people come back from that. And on that note, I done put in 40 minutes on here. I want to say peace. For anybody that's checking this out, thank you for spending your time. It's support to me because it's energy. Even if you agree, disagree, guess what? It is what it is. But Black Alchemy, we got a lot of things coming. I got a lot of subjects to talk about. A lot of things might seem mundane, like I said to some people, and a lot of things are going to hit heavy with. I've been doing this for a while, man. I'm not new to this. Fell back out of the scene for a minute, man, because I got family. I work a 9 to 5. So when the opportunity is presented to actually put something here up on YouTube, I'm going to do it because it's my obligation. It's what I incarnated here for. It's part of my karmic debt. I have to study and I have to put it out. Because probably in a previous life, I hindered somebody understanding. So on that note, thank you for checking out Black Alchemy. We do tarot readings, do divinations, we do spiritual baths, and we also do ritualistic work. If you need these things or looking for these things, check us out. And we're not charging arm and leg prices like a lot of people out here doing. If we do charge, because these things that you're going to need, these things do add up, and we have to go certain places to find it, get this from here, get this from here, might have this shipped in, this and that. You know what I'm saying? And then too, we putting work in, man. We giving up our time and energy. Know what I mean? But we not trying to rip nobody off over here like a lot of people. We real over here, man. We family. Know what I mean? We everyday people over here. We know it might be tight. Yo, I done did a lot of free work for a lot of people. They didn't have it. Cool. As a practitioner, I feel like sometimes, that's your obligation, man. Because I know what it's like. And I'm going to leave that on that. So on that note, subscribe. Thank you for checking us out. I'm holding down the fort by myself today while Blackout doing her thing. This is a different format today. I normally do it on Facebook and transfer it over to YouTube, but I did it straight YouTube today, and I'm going to see if I can transfer it over to Facebook. Know what I mean? But it was fun. Thank you for listening to me run my mouth, but I have to get this out because it's therapeutic to me, and it helps me on my path and my journey and my evolution. So on that note, I'm going to say peace.